ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Verse number 30. स्वयं भ्रमोऽपि संवादी यथा सम्यक् फलप्रदः ब्रह्मतत्त्वोपासनापि तथा मुक्तिफलप्रदा. So Vidyaranya is discussing a very unique topic of Brahma. Brahma is a topic. Samvadi Brahma. There are two types of Brahma. Samvadi, Visamvadi. Samvadi, Visamvadi or Asamvadi, well, it means the Brahma which leads to not a favorable result. That's Asamvadi or Visamvadi. And Samvadi Brahma means the error, the superimposition, well, leads to a advantage, accidentally or deliberately. Deliberately you do Brahma for your advantage. Or you have a Brahma, but result will be accidentally an advantage. Anyway, and this kind of things are there. The examples he gave based on Pratyaksha, based on Anumana, based on the Shastra also describes that kind of a Brahma which leads to a favorable result, etc. And that Samvadi Brahma is a topic. So after discussing this up to verse number 12, examples, now he goes into a Dashtanta. And in verse 13 is basically it's a sutra shloka, you can say. It's an opening statement, a brief statement. What he is going to discuss in the whole chapter, he gives a very brief statement here in verse number 30. That is, he says, Brahma Tattva Upasana Api. So, this Nirguna Brahma Upasana, basically, which exists in the form of a Samvadi Brahma. So, Samvadi Brahma. For person, we'll see that. So, being a Samvadi Brahma, definitely there will be a blessing. Mukti Phala Pradaha, he says. Well, it is going to Mukti Phala Prada. It is going to give rise to Pradayate. So, Mukti Phalam Pradayate, which ultimately results into moksha. So, it means this Upasana, which is Samvadi Brahma, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, which is Samvadi Brahma, is a cause for the result, effect of moksha. So, as though Nirguna Brahma Upasana and moksha, they have a cause-effect relationship. You cannot have a cause-effect relationship. Why it cannot have a cause-effect relationship? Upasana, if you do, it's a karma, manasa karma. It will give karma phala. And there is one thing which is not karma phala is moksha. Moksha cannot be karma phala. If it is a karma phala, falgutaya liyate, it is nashwaram. So you become free and you again become bound. Nashwaram, perishable. Any phalam, any fruit is perishable. And therefore moksha cannot be a phala, karma phala. Moksha is basically one's own nature which is not produced. Never nature can be produced of anything. Either it is or it is not. Fire will be there and the heat will be produced later in the fire. No. So long as fire is, the heat is. So long as the heat is, fire is. That's it. It is not produced. Same way the nature of oneself is moksha. You are already free. That's it. If I am already free and still I take myself as a samsari, bound, then that is an error. And that error is born of ignorance, self-ignorance here. And therefore one should know that I am free. So moksha, you are already free, you know it. Even we don't say it is a fruit of a jnanam, jnana phalam. No. Moksha is not a jnana phalam, please understand. Moksha is not a result of knowledge. No. Moksha is not result. Moksha is just knowledge of you. That I am moksha. I am mukta. That's it. Moksha is in terms of knowledge, not result of knowledge. Nowhere it is result means it is produced. You gain knowledge and then moksha will be generated. Anything which is generated is time bound. Yeah. If it is time bound, moksha is with respect to one's own self. Means I am free. That well, and so you say now I am mukta. I gain Brahma Jnanam, self-knowledge, and now I have a moksha. Means it is produced that I am free. Well, it is produced means, well, it is within the time. Yeah, it is within time. If it is time bound, where is freedom? Where is freedom? So, but Swamiji, right now I am free. Yeah, but that time bound freedom means what? It will go away. That's how we enjoy sometimes. The husbands enjoy some such freedom when she goes to her parents' place. Then this person, husband enjoys freedom for some days, But again, and the day she calls and I have done a WhatsApp, etc., I am coming tonight. My God. He says, my God. Why my God? My gosh. Hey, that is not God even. In America it is my gosh. My God. So basically, freedom is a nature of you. You are not time bound if you know it is moksha. I am not time bound. I am timeless entity. Is a moksha. I am spaceless entity. I have nothing to do with the space. Space cannot affect me. Space cannot make me limited. I am free from the limitation of space. I am free from the limitation of time. I am timeless, spaceless, and attributeless, propertyless consciousness. That's it. No kind of a no kind of a limitation is there in self. That is moksha. But anyway, my point is that is not a. So Nirguna Brahma Upasana cannot produce, it cannot become a cause for the moksha. Moksha will be effect, no. And therefore, while we say, so there is no real cause effect relationship between Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana and moksha. Then definitely it is like what? That's how the example was given. It is like that Kakataliyam, seeming cause effect. Kakataliyam. The crow sits on that particular branch of that vriksha, tali vriksha, palm tree, and that palm fruit, tali phalam, falls. We feel this, crow has is a cause for the falling of this fruit. No, it's seeming cause-effect relationship. Anyway, and therefore we say this Nirguna Brahma Upasana is a Brahma naturally. If it is a real cause-effect relationship, it is not a Brahma. So if real cause-effect relationship, will not call Nirguna Brahma Upasana as a Samvadi Brahma. If you say Brahma, means the cause-effect relationship is a apparent relationship. So Brahma Tattva Upasana api, Nirguna Brahma Upasana api, Swayam Brahma api. Well, it is a form of a Brahma only. It is by itself as a form of Brahma, but still it will Mukti Phala Prada. It will give you moksha. Indirectly. So this is a Sutra Vakyam, and Vidyaranya is going to elaborate up to verse 134. Means he is going to dwell upon that Nirguna Brahma Upasana, how does it come into existence, and and in which context it causes, it comes into existence, who is a candidate kept in the mind. All this is going to discuss, but he just mentions in verse number 13. So now we'll see verse number 14. Vedantebhyo brahma tattvam akhandaikarasaatmakam paroksham avagamyaitat ahamasmityupasate. So as I said, the context and the candidate for this Nirguna Brahma Upasana is now introduced. In which context? How does Nirguna Brahma Upasana comes into existence? What is the relevance? So that he is discussing. And who will be the candidate? So, we imagine a person who has an exposure to this teaching of the Shastra, Vedanta. And when he is exposed to this teaching, he studies Upanishad. And when he studies Upanishad, he comes across many upasanas. Yeah, many upasanas are there in Om, in Chandogya, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, even in Prashnopanishad, so many upasanas. In Taittiriya Upanishad, whole Shikshavalli upasana. But that upasana is not this upasana. That upasana is entirely different. What Upanishad describes as a topic of upasana is a Saguna Brahma upasana. This is not Nirguna Brahma upasana. And but anyway, so this is just by the way. But in Vedanta, one who studies Vedanta, he will come across the sentences of Vedanta which are of two types. First is a Avantar Vakyani, and the second one is a Mahavakyani. Any Vakya which defines Brahman without equating with the individual, is Avantar Vakya. Yattad adreshyam agrahyam achakshushrotram tadapanipadam bhutayonim etc. 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 Not equated at all with the individual. Description of Brahman is there, but not an equation with oneself. That Brahman is you. No. Then it is just Avantarvakya which describes Brahmans or Brahman Swarupam also. There are two types of definition we should remember of Brahman, God. Two types of definition. One is a Tatastha Lakshanam. You define Brahman as like Yatova imani bhutani jayanti yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisambhishanti tad Brahma. From which everything comes forth, by which everything is sustained, maintained, unto which everything resolves, is Brahman. That's the definition. That is called Tatastha Lakshana. The other definition of Brahman is, God is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This is called Swarupa Lakshanam. Lakshanam is a definition. Definition in terms of its own nature. That is Swarupa Lakshana. Definition with respect to something else. With respect to Jagat. Then it is Tatastha Lakshana. So the house on which the crow is, that is the house of Devadatta. Tatastha Lakshana. Yeah, why? Why Tatastha Lakshana? Why not Swarupa? A crow is not sitting on that house 24/7 multiply 365. Crow is right now there. Tatastha Lakshana means you define Brahman by indication. Yeah. So, then you bring a Jagat into that. And you say, with respect to this Jagat, Brahman is the cause. So, Brahman is the cause, means Brahman from which everything has come and sustained and resolved. Just as crow goes away, then this definition has no place. The house on which crow has sat is the house of Devadatta. That is just a incidental definition. Incidental. That has an incident where this crow was flying and is set now. So the same way with respect to Jagat we say, when Jagat resolves, or when you understand Jagat as Mithya, means you have understood everything as Satyam Brahma alone, nothing else. When you understand Jagat Mithya is equal to, you have understood, that is Brahman. Means everything is Brahman. One whole Brahman. That's it. No division. Non-dual. Non-dual Brahman means whole Brahman. There is Brahman. There was Brahman. There will be Brahman. So Jagat Gaya. Gone. Now that definition from which the whole world comes and all the forms come and this and names and forms come and then sustain, and that has no place now. It has no place. And therefore, that's a Swarupa Lakshana. Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Anantam, which is limitless, there is nothing other than that, etc., etc., which is in the form of existence, which is consciousness. So that is Swarupa Lakshana. So anyway, here, Avantar Vakya, which says Yattad Adrishyam, etc., which means the Brahman is defined. Once Brahman, the Brahman is defined as such here, but it is not equated with oneself, then it is Avantar Vakya. Sadeva Somedamagra Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Before all these names and forms came into the being, there was one Brahman alone, one without the second, non-dual Brahman, the whole Brahman was there. Means Brahman is defined as just Jagat Karanam. This is Avantar Vakya. Later it is been equated by Uddalaka. Aitadatma vidagum sarvam sa atma tattvamasi shvetaketo. So that is a Mahavakya. That Brahman which is Jagat Karanam, which was one without the second before everything came into being, well, that is you. Then, well, I am Jagat Karanam. I am Jagat Karan, please understand this. There are two types of causes which I discussed in these 2 days. One is a immediate cause, which we call Parinami Upadana Karan. Immediate cause. The cause which undergoes modification. That is also Paramatma. The cause which does not undergo any modification. Vivarta Upadana Karan. So, basically 2 types of causes. So, Brahman is a Parinami Upadana Karanam, due to Maya, of course, you know. The Maya, Apara Prakriti only undergoes modification, but Maya is non-separate from Brahman. And so we say Brahman is, is a Parinami Upadana Karanam. That is not equated in Mahavakya with the Jiva. Because for you, Jiva is not the Upadhi of Maya. Yeah. But Jiva essentially is Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma. That way it is a cause. Yeah. Because that is a real cause. Paraprakriti. Bhagavan says, as a Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, I am the cause, real cause of the creation. Because I lend existence to everything. Material cause lends existence to the effect. And therefore, I am Jagat Karanam. And Tattvamasi, Tat means Ishvara, means who is a Jagat Karanam, and that is you, means not Parinami, because that is a Maya undergoing, that's a Upadhi. So basically, you are also as a Paraprakriti, you are as a Vivarta Upadana Karanam, you are also the cause of the world. You lend existence, because Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma lends existence to everything. Well, then that Satyam Jnanam Brahma I am, and therefore I am real cause of the world, or Brahman is the real cause of the world. So that is how Mahavakya. Please understand, don't get confused. So Parinami Upadana Karanam, I am not a Parinami Upadana Karanam, I am undergoing modification. No, this is Maya undergoing modification. So with the Brahman with the Maya Upadhi we say Ishvara, then Ishvara itself evolves into the form of this creation, in the form of elements, and then subtle elements, and then gross elements, and the elementals, and everything. That is there. But the Paraprakriti, as a Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, that is also a cause, without modification, without change, in which even the Maya is sustained. That cause, as Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, that real cause, which is called even Swarupa Prakriti also. Prakriti means cause. Just being Satyam Jnanavantam Brahma, hey Arjuna, you are also the cause of the creation. So please understand this, the cause of the creation, Swamiji, but I evolved into all these forms, etc. Then I am undergoing modification, I am elements and all that. Well, the being of every element is you. Not Maya as such, but existence of any element is you. You lend existence to the entire creation, therefore you are also, as a Satyam Brahma, you also are the cause. That way equation is there. Jiva is equal to Ishvara means what? You have to understand. Ishvara, which is a composite of 2 principles, Para and Apara Prakriti. Apara Prakriti is this Maya, or Shakti, or Avyaktam, or Apara Prakriti, or several names, Avyakritam. That is Parinami Upadana. In that sense, you are not equated. Mahavakya does not equate you with the Ishvara. Ishvara is composite of two elements. I mean, two principles as such. But there are really two. No, that is one. Because apara prakriti, the Maya, etc., has a being in Brahman. So that's non-separate, mithya. But what you see as a modification, and that is also Ishvara, but that is not you. Yeah. That is not you. But yes, everything is. Yeah, that is you. Everything is an object of knowledge. Yes. So it is pervaded by consciousness. Yeah, that consciousness is you. As a Satchit of everything, as a Swarupa of everything, as Atma of everything, as essence of everything is you or I. I am you. You are me. I hope you have understood what I mean. But as a name and form, no, that is that is Maya. But that is Ishvara or not? That is Ishvara. That is also Ishvara. Therefore, Pujya Swamiji says, what is Ishvara. Names and forms, Ishvara. And what is the truth of every name and form ultimately? Well, is also Ishvara. So Ishvara is equated with the Jiva in form of that Paraprakriti as a Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Anyway, so this is, I have just went into this topic, but because I wanted to discuss this, because this can create a problem. So the Brahman with the Maya Upadhi we call Ishvara, and Ishvara alone evolves into in the form of this creation. But very existence and the consciousness, well, that is also Ishvara, but that is equated with you also. So you are also the cause of everything. Ishvara also as a Paraprakriti, as a Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma is a cause. That is you. So Jiva and Ishvara that way are identical. Not in terms of all those names and forms, etc. And that Brahman with the Maya Upadhi also becomes an efficient cause, Sarvagnya, Sarvashakti, etc. So then you can't say I am Sarvagnya, Sarvashakti, because you need that Maya Upadhi. Maya Upadhi, that Upadhi is not here. But you are Brahman. Ishvara also is Brahman, you are also Brahman. As a Paraprakriti, as a Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is the real cause of everything. Anyway, so in Vedanta, as I told you, Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Also is a basically, if it is Sadeva Somedamagra Asit, etc., can be looked upon as Avantarvakya. If you don't analyze the nature of yourself, then Brahman is Jagat Karanam, Brahman is Jagat Karanam, Brahman is Jagat Karanam. You said, Swamiji, you are Jagat Karanam. Yes, but then you should analyze the Tvampada. Without analyzing Tvampada, how will you say I am Jagat Karanam? If you don't analyze, you know you are individual. As an individual, you are not a Jagat Karanam. If you analyze Tvampada, then you realize, well, I am not a conscious individual, I am consciousness. And that is limitless. And that is in the form of that is in the form of existence. It is self-existent consciousness. Because it is an invariable thing, which is timeless thing. And nothing affects consciousness. Consciousness is never displaced by the object of consciousness. It is invariably present. Whether it is a space consciousness, or whether it is a memory consciousness, or whether it is a body height consciousness, or whether it is a hunger consciousness, any consciousness. Consciousness is not threatened. Objects of consciousness, apara prakriti, well, this Maya keeps varying and varying and varying. One goes, other comes, one goes, other comes. All variable. The consciousness which illumines that and the consciousness which lends existence to that is invariable. The self-existing, self-illumining consciousness I am. Yeah. You illumine all the kshetra, you are kshetrajna. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu. You are kshetrajna. You are the kshetram janati. You are illumining everything. You are illumining thoughts, you are illumining hunger, thirst. You are illumining emotions, memory, recollection, illumining the senses, and sense organs and organs of action, you are illuminating the body, and you are illuminating the space, time, and you are illuminating all the things. That you, well, in which everything resides. Everything is in this consciousness as a kshetrajna. What that is, apara prakriti is a kshetra, para prakriti is kshetrajna. So this is how we have to understand. Because this discussion of Brahman, Avantar Vakya, and that's how I said. So anyway, Brahman is a Jagat Karanam, can be Avantar Vakya. If you don't analyze, if you don't have heard Mahavakya, you will say Brahman is a Jagat Karanam, Parmeshwara is a Jagat Karanam. And Brahman alone, well, Brahman alone was there before creation, and therefore what comes out of it, definitely it is Mithya, because non-separate, right? And therefore, well, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya is a Avantar Vakya. Yeah. And when Avantar Vakya are inquired in further, then you find, oh, it is myself. It leads to Brahmajnana. So only in a Mahavakya, Brahman is revealed as myself. If I have not heard, I can't claim as myself. That kind of Brahmajnanam, which you don't equate with oneself, is Paroksha Jnanam. This is a topic again came. So, Avantar Vakya Vicharena, by analyzing Avantar Vakya, well, you may gain this Paroksha Jnanam. Means he has not inquired into Mahavakya, he has not seen, somehow he has not gone further. That Avantar Vakya portion he has heard, that Brahman is Jagat Karan, etc. Therefore Jagat is Mithya, etc. Everything he has. But that is further in the Upanishad, that is equated with oneself. Suppose he has not heard. So Tvampada Vichara has not been done. Right? He takes himself as an individual and he takes Brahman as a Jagat Karan. So if he analyzes the Tvampada, because he heard the Mahavakya, then well, definitely he will gain the knowledge. Now this is a one case. Means he has not inquired into Tvampada, he has not heard Mahavakya, therefore not inquired into Tvampada. One. Second thing is, he has inquired into Tvampada, he has come across this Mahavakya and he has tried to analyze this Tvampada, the oneself, the individual, but his inquiry remains blocked somehow, due to emotional reason also, could be possible. Many bhaktas, they just don't like to say, I am Jagat Karanam, I am Parmeshwara, I am the real cause of everything, not Parmeshwara, I also is the real. They say this is too much. It's a papam actually. So, even if you come across this Mahavakya, you are analyzing, inquiring to this Mahavakya, so Tatpada, fine. Parmeshwara is the cause of everything, fine. But in Mahavakya, the Tvampada is equated with that Tatpada which is Jagat Karanam. Their inquiry becomes blocked. No. So, that is the thing. Some obstacle. So, well, definitely he doesn't like that. Or else, third one also, who really wants to know. He is not that emotional person. He is a rational guy and he really wants to know that how I is Jagat Karanam Brahman. And he does sincerely inquiry everything. But even at the end of inquiry, listening to Mahavakya also, somehow he is not ready to accept that I am Brahman. Even though knowledge is generated, but he somehow says still, knowledge is not generated. I am Brahman, etc. is a Brahma for me. Real knowledge will come later. In terms of experience, as a realization, something they will say. So, well, so this is a third type of person. So either you have not come across Mahavakya inquiry, so not analyzed Sampada, or you have come across and well, due to the block of emotion, etc., you don't like to inquire into oneself, that I am the cause of the universe, well, that you don't like, or you are not, you don't have that blockage of emotion, etc. Yes, he is open. I would like to know, I am Jagat Karanam Brahman. I am listening to Mahavakya, etc. But then there is some adrishta by which even though knowledge is generated, he is an intelligent person, the knowledge is generated, yes, yeah, I am Satchidananda, I am this Jagat Karanam. Well, so knowledge is generated. So you say, are you free or etc., or are you unique or not? Or are you a limited being? No, I think I am still a limited being. But you know that you are Brahman. Yeah, but I don't think this is that is a knowledge. Knowledge will be born late, I think later. I will try, I will listen to Shastra again. So that's a different type of blockage. That's adrishta. Because of some adrishta, even though knowledge is generated, he takes it as a Brahma and waiting for some other knowledge to come or realization, experience to come. So, three types of people are there. Anyway, so in any case, one does not like to look upon oneself, this moksha, as Brahman due to any blockage. Means ahankara is dominant, individuality, sense of individuality is dominant. He is not able to accept that I am free, oh, timeless Brahman, etc. He doesn't. Well, Vidyaranya discusses this kind of, addresses this issue and says, well, may you practice this thought. What thought? Aham Brahmasmi. That Aham Brahmasmi you know? Yeah, because he has listened to Mahavakya, suppose. Repeat. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. So, Aham Brahmasmi vritti avritti. Even though you don't have a conviction that you are Brahman, don't worry. For you it is Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi is a Brahma. Yes, I am Brahman is a Brahma for me. Okay, repeat that. Sambadi Brahma. Why Sambadi? It is going to benefit him. Will be converted into knowledge. He will not now say, oh, I don't have a knowledge that I am Brahman. I have a knowledge, he will say. That is the blessing. That's the blessing generated by the upasana. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. This is called Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So fake it till you make it. And this Nirguna Brahma Upasana, upon what is Alambanam? Myself. Ahankara is Alambanam. Ahankara is Alambanam. On that you superimpose Nirguna Brahma. Swamiji, I is Nirguna Brahma only. Should not be superimposed. That is for you and for me, fortunate people. But he is not fortunate. For him, I is a Ahankara only. Even though he has listened and he has listened like this, that I am Brahman, because Mahavakya also he has listened. So I am Brahman, he has listened and he is clear also. Still he says, I am an individual. Still I don't have Brahma Jnana. Brahman is myself, I don't know yet. Well, then, we say, don't worry. You have some block generated by your adrishta of the past. So, then upon myself, the individual, no problem, you are individual, no problem. On that ahankara, invoke, superimpose Nirguna Brahma, Brahman, free, that timeless, propertyless Brahman. You superimpose upon that and repeat. That is called Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So that is in verse number 14 it said, Vedantebhyaha. Vedantebhya means avantar vakyebhya. From avantar vakya, Brahma Lakshana vakya, Brahman is Jagat Karanam, that kind of a definition of Brahman. Well, definitely, Brahma Tattvam avagamya. Well, that Brahman, avagamya. He now comes to know that Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Not I as a Brahman, but Brahman is Jagat Karanam, excluding I. I am an individual. Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Well, and what kind of Brahma? He came to know this Brahma Tattvam. What kind of Brahman? Akhanda Ekarasatmakam. Well, it is pure existence. Well, pure existence, free from all the names and forms, etc., etc. Any, that way. Ekarasatmakam, homogeneous, whole, no division at all. And so, well, that is the reality, and therefore all this Jagat, the Nam Rupas, etc., they are false. Akhandam, as such definition is given as Sajatiya Swagata, Sajatiya Vijata Swagata Bhedahita. No division whatsoever. That's how it is, I say, non-dual. No division, non-dual means whole. But Brahman is free from all divisions. Paroksham. Because Avantar Vakya. So, well, he has understood Brahman as Akhandam, Ekarasam, etc. And it has given him a Paroksha Jnana. Naturally, Mahavakya is not listened, or even if it listened, not due to blockage of emotion, well, he is not analyzed Tvampada, so he is not equating, or even he is trying to equate, but somehow he says, I don't have Brahma Jnanam, I am not Brahman. You have a Brahma Jnanam and you say, I am not Brahman? Yeah. So, blockage. So, Paroksha. For him, Brahman, he knows Brahman, but what kind of a knowledge? Paroksha Jnana. Having Paroksham Avagamya, having indirectly known, not as directly, not as immediate, not as a self. So, imagine that Brahman is the cause, means Brahman is the Adhishthanam of everything. Even it has been said, Brahman is the Adhishthanam of everything, including Jiva. And he has heard it. Brahman is the Adhishthanam of I, the Ahankara, the Jiva, the Karta Bhokta. And he understood also. Then you say you are Brahman, you are Adhishthanam. No. No. I am individual. I don't have Brahman Jnana. Could you follow? This is the block. So, we say, well, don't worry. Do this Aham Brahmasmi Upasana. Retain your I, okay, don't worry. That's Ahankara. But superimpose Brahman upon that. And do Upasana, Avruti. Atasmin Tadbuddhi. Brahma. Adhyaropa, Adhyasa, Adhyaropa. Atasmin Tadbuddhi. You who are not Brahman, well, keep this, that I am Brahman. Do that Upasana. Number 50. Pratyang Vyaktimanullikhya Shastra Vishnavadimurtivat Asti Brahmeti Samanya Jnanamatra Parokshadihi. So, what is this Paroksha Jnanam of Brahman? That is because Brahma Asti iti Samanya Jnanam. That there is a Brahman which is Jagat Karanam. Well, if somebody asks him, well, that what is Brahman? Well, he will say it is pure consciousness, which is existence, which is limitless, which is the cause of the world, etc., etc. It survives death. It is formless. It is free from any attributes. Everything he says, patapat, everything. And that is equated with you also. Yeah, but I don't think I am Brahman. He says he knows that I am. It is equated with myself because he might have listened to Mahavakya. Anyway, so from where did he get now? Here, of course, he mentions Avantar Shastra Vakya because Mahavakya means which will Shravanam will generate knowledge. This is how Acharya believes. If Mahavakya you listen, it will generate a immediate knowledge because you are Brahman and it is not a present, it is not a future tense. Tat tvam bhavishyasi. You also will be Parmeshwara, which is the cause of the world in the future. No. Tat tvam asi. Existent fact. You are. You are. So, teacher keeps repeating every class, you are, and he keeps on repeating, I will be Brahman, I will be Brahman. Somehow are and will be, he doesn't understand the Veda. Wonderful. That is the block. This is adrishta. Prarabdha has come, has manifested in this form. Even you listen to a existent fact, but it remains a future phenomena for you. Amazing it is. Tattvam asi, he takes it as a tattvam bhavishyasi. Yeah. Yeah. For those people only. This is there. I have already told you, for people who says I am Brahman, I have knowledge, but this is a Dehatma Buddhi due to past, that is different. For him, this is now, this Upasana is not meant for such people. They are more fortunate people compared to this. This person says, I don't have a knowledge. Where is a question of repeating the knowledge that to get rid of Dehatma Buddhi? I don't have a knowledge at all. But what is there in your head then? When I am saying you are Sachidananda, you said, yes, I have heard that. Then what is that? What is that? No, it is not knowledge, family. Okay. So anyway, but here Acharya mentions Avantar because this is not fair, frankly speaking. Well, he has listened to Mahavakya and yet there is no knowledge. That's an insult to Mahavakya actually. And the teaching, insult to teacher also. So here Acharya keeps a little this Avantar Vakya Shastra Pramanam. Avantar Vakya. Brahman is Jagat Karan, Brahman is Jagat Karan. Not equated with oneself. More equated with oneself, Mahavakya. So let us say that he has heard that way. Pratyang Vyaktim Anullikhya. This Brahman, well, definitely Anullikhya. Anullikhya, Ut plus Lik. Ullikhati is to identify. For that you can make Ullikhya, identifying. Anullikhya, not identifying. Not identifying with what? Pratyang Vyaktim. So, Brahma asti iti samanya jnanam. So, Pratyak Vyaktim Anullikhya. So he keeps it Brahma. There is a Brahman which is like this consciousness and all that. So Pratyang Vyaktim Anullikhya. He does not equate that Brahman, he does not identify that Brahman with Pratyang Vyaktim, is with immediate self, with I. What is immediate is I. Does not equate with I. When that Brahman is aparoksham, immediate, that he is not doing. Actually, Shastra says it is adrishto, drishta, vijnato, vijnata, etc. While you are the one who is an observer, non-observable observer. One Acharya says like non-observable observer. Means definitely you are the only observer, everything is observed. But anyway, he means basically that is the Brahman, but he is not equating with I. And actually you cannot identify Brahman other than you also. I have told you several times. So without you, you cannot know Brahman. Brahman has to be known. The Brahman which is all pervasive, Brahman which is in the form of existence, self-existent, self-illumining Brahman, limitless Brahman, propertyless Brahman should be known, must be known as I. If you exclude I, Brahman will never be known. But Swamiji, Brahman is all pervading. Okay, no problem. Brahman is all pervading, but Brahman is known only as the I, and he is not doing it. Therefore he says, I am not Brahman. Anullikhya means without identifying. Pratyang Vyaktim means I, the Sakshi Chaitanya, is Brahman, but no. Atra Parokshati. Still he knows Brahman. Brahma Asti, Jagat Karanam Brahma Asti, that way he knows. Therefore he has a Parokshati. See, he has a Paroksha Jnana. Acharya says, Vishnava, Shastra Vishnavadi Murtivat. So, like knowing various murtis, various forms of Lord, like Vishnu and Shiva and all that. So, Shastra Vishnavadi means that in keeping with the description of the Shastra regarding Vishnu, Shiva, etc., in certain form, Chaturbhuja, etc., description of the Vishnu will be there, description of Shiva will be there. So, Kshiro, Danvat Pradeshe, etc., Shuchimanigat. So, all this description in Dhyana Shlokas you know very well. There is a description of a Shiva, Vishnu, even with a complexion also. Yeah, whether what kind of a complexion, etc. And what are the ayudhas, etc. What are there in their hands and these and that. So all this, what kind of a, a garment, attire they have, everything. So definitely, and what is their asanam? So in Milky Ocean, on that Shesha, well, he's lying, or on the Kailasa, well, the Shiva is sitting, everything, a whole description is there. And I come to know like this, that there is a Vishnu, there is a Shiva, etc. So that is what? It's a Samanya Jnanam. But, and you cannot identify as another. One description of a Vishnu means you identify as a Vishnu. There is a description in the Shastra, especially Purana. There is a description of a Shiva with this kind of murti, etc. in a Shiva Purana or any other. Well, so you identify as other. So, since other than yourself you identify, this depending upon the description of Shiva, Vishnu, etc., right, given in the Puranas, so then what kind of a jnanam you have of this Parmeshwara? Paroksha jnanam. Naturally, because you don't equate that form, Chaturbhuja, which has been described, is myself. You don't say that. So you have Paroksha jnanam of that. So, same way, you have a Paroksha jnanam of Brahman, because you don't equate. You come to know regarding Brahman, Jagat Karan Brahma, through Avantar Vakya, but you don't equate with oneself. Then what kind of Brahma jnanam you have? Paroksha jnanam. That's what he says. Brahma Paroksha jnanam. Anyway, this is a very big, very sensitive topic, in fact. Very sensitive topic, because many acharyas are not accepting Paroksha jnanam of Brahman. They say that is Brahma only, etc. But anyway, nobody can speak against Vidyaranya, because he solidly argues there is a Paroksha jnanam. In fact, we discussed this before. Paroksha jnanam of Brahman we discussed in Pancadasi, in chapter 7. I am giving you the reference for you, for your benefit. Verse 51 to 55. We already discussed. Now, verse 16. Chaturbhujadyavagatapapi Chaturbhujadyavagatau api murtimanullikhan akshaif parokshajnaniva nasada Vishnu mikshate. Is still in the description of that Vishnu and etc. He need not explain, but still he explains this Vishnu Jnanam, Shiva Jnanam, generated from the study of Puranas, etc., is a Paroksha Jnanam. He is explaining that further. Need not. It is very clear, but still. Chaturbhujadi avagatau api. Avagatau. Jnatau. Even you know, avagatau api, means even if you know, Sati Saptami, Chaturbhujadi, that Vishnu is a Chaturbhuja, and these are the things, etc. There is one stotra also. that stotra's name is Padadi Keshantar Varnana Stotra. Padadi Keshantar. Beginning from the feet of the Lord to the Kesha of the Lord. Up to that. Anta. Well, the description. From the feet of the Lord to the hair of the Lord, on the head. The description is there in one stotra. Right? So if you read that stotra or know the meaning, you will have what? Knowledge From whom? Vishnu, Parameshwara. But is this a pratyaksha jnanam or paroksha jnanam? Huh? You read this. Oh, Bhagavan's feet are like this, and then Bhagavan's eyes are like this and that. Bhagavan Vakshasthala is like that. Lakshmi ji is there, this and that. Bhagavan's hair is like this. All description. You have gained knowledge of Vishnu, Chaturbhuja. That description has given you jnanam. That jnanam we are asking you is whether it is a pratyaksha jnanam or paroksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam. Why? Akshaihi murtim anulikhan. He says, this Vishnu Sharira is not available to your sense organs. You have gained knowledge of Vishnu Sharira, but you are not seeing that Vishnu Sharira with your eyes. If you are seeing with your eyes, it is a pratyaksha jnana. Same. As per the description you see in front, suppose, through your eyes, with your eyes, I mean, then we say you have a pratyaksha jnanam of Vishnu. Right? But you don't have. So, without Vishnu in front, Murtim Anulikhan, without that form, Murti means form, without that form, without identifying with that form, the form which has been described here, you don't identify in front of you. Akshayi means directly with sense organs. Without that identification, well, still you say, you know Vishnu as a Chaturbhuja. Then that jnanam is what? Paroksha jnanam. Paroksha. As per the description of the well, that if you see in front, you say you have a pratyaksha jnanam of Lord Vishnu. But this one is a paroksha jnanam. So this says tada Vishnu na ikshate akshahi paroksha jnani eva na tada Vishnu ikshate. Means tada means at the time of that description and you are gaining jnanam. Tada at that time Vishnu na ikshate. You don't directly perceive Vishnu in front of you, and therefore you know Vishnu now as a Chaturbhuja, etc. And thorough varnanam through that stotra, etc. Well, you know what kind of a feet he has and what kind of a complexion of his skin and everything you will know. But still it is a paroksha jnana. Same way, well, you come to know through Vantarvakya, etc. Brahman is Jagat Karanam, and it is consciousness and formless and this and that and free from Punyam Papam, etc. And he pervades everything, and you know. But if you don't identify with oneself, then that is just a paroksha. Because you don't identify with pratyaksha. Hey, identify with myself means pratyaksha. What are you talking? Aparoksha. I is a aparoksha. But then you should not say a pratyaksha. Why did you mention? You are really a nut. I am not a nut. I am telling you. Word aparoksha is used for pratyaksha. Word pratyaksha is used in Shastra for aparoksha. I am telling you. So keep an eye on Shastra. And sometimes Shastra says you are pratyaksha. Sometimes you say you are aparoksha. Then what? Sometimes they interchange. But aparoksha means eye, immediate. What you see through eyes or hear through your ears and everything, that is pratyaksha. Direct perception through the senses. That is that knowledge, because they are pramana basically, means of knowledge. So that will generate pratyaksha jnana. Direct knowledge. And what is not direct is generally paroksha, which is not within the periphery of your senses. Still you know. Right now, what is there in the ashram, for me it is paroksha. For you also it is paroksha. Myself is a pratyaksha for you. You are pratyaksha for me right now. But the lecture hall, our lecture hall is paroksha for you. whether somebody, is there a hall or not? Kya baat hai? You know there is a hall. You know, but you have a paroksha jnanam right now. What is not pratyaksha, what is not paroksha, still you have a knowledge. And that knowledge is a paroksha jnana. Yeah. Which is not a pratyaksha, which is not a paroksha. Still you know. That is a paroksha. What? I heard. I have told several times. That is how aparoksha anubhuti. Aparoksha. Aparoksha is Atma. I. You know I or not? You know I. What means of knowledge you used? Have you used eyes, ears, skin, nostrils? What did you use to gain knowledge of I? Nothing, Swamiji, I know. In fact, before they operate, before I smell, I is there. Before I see, I is there. Before I hear, I is there. No, Swamiji, hearing is there. I is not there. Kya baat hai? Ah. In fact, since I am there, I am able to hear. Since I am there, I am able to think. Not that because I think I am. You know this story. Because I think, therefore I am. Kya baat hai? You say I think, means I is present before thinking. I is present before recollecting, I is present before emoting, I is present before hearing, I is present before. Before you operate your means of knowledge called sense organs and the mind, which is only a means of knowledge to you. Before you operate, I is there. How do you know I is there? I know I is there. Okay. You have a knowledge of I. Without using means of knowledge, senses and mind and everything. So that is aparoksha, immediate. Not pratyaksha you have used. No sense organs, no mind, inference, etc. Oh, I infer, therefore I am. Kya baat hai? No. You are there, therefore you infer. And therefore, even mind is not used. So, paroksha jnanam also, inference, etc. Paroksha jnanam. No. So, there is only one thing which you know, yet it is not a pratyaksha jnanam, not it is a paroksha jnanam. That is I. Aparoksha. I know I am there. What? Who am I? Well, you ask your wife, no problem, or you ask your husband. Yeah, better. Even if you don't ask, someone will ask to your wife, who are you? Okay? But I am, I exist. You don't need any means of knowledge. I exist because I exist. I know because I know. That is self-illumining, self-existent principle, not dependent upon any means of knowledge. That is self-existent. Means of knowledge reveal the object, then you say it is. Reveal the object. Pot is revealed to you, the Swami is revealed to you through your eyes, and so you say Swami is. If you don't operate your means of knowledge, any means of knowledge, mind and senses, you will not prove my existence. No. Suppose you are not able to hear, you are not able to see, you are not able to touch, you are not nothing. No, Swamiji, if I don't see, don't hear, but still I can infer. Suppose you don't use even inference. How will you prove? You don't use your mind, suppose. How will you prove my existence to you? You cannot. Means of knowledge reveal the thing, and thereby you say it is. But without means of knowledge, if you know you are, then you are self-revealing. Not revealed by the senses. Yet you are revealing yourself without any means of knowledge. You are self-revealing, self-illumining principle. Therefore, you are self-existent. Your existence is not dependent upon any means of knowledge. Self-existent. What is self-existent? Is the nature. Self-existent means no cause for the existence. Then, well, what is not having any cause? That is the nature. Existence is my nature. Consciousness is my nature. Satchit. And it is limitless. Ananda. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.